Hey, welcome again to the No One Warned You podcast, the podcast where we have no fluff conversations about the things you should know when you're starting a business or if you want to grow your business. And here with me today, I have Tom Williams. He's the founder and CEO of Supercase. And if you don't know him, well, go back to the last episode. This is a series with 3 episodes. Go back. He shares who he is and what he does, and you're getting something from someone that really understands the market. And well, Tom, great having you here again. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Yeah,
And
pleased to be here.
in the last episode, you mentioned that sometimes when you're talking to a customer, and then they say that you have a great product or service, but what you notice is that many times what they mean is you have something good, it's great, but it's not for me. And
Yeah, yeah.
so share more about it.
Well, people want to be friendly. So we're all humans. We're all social. Every now and then you get a grumper bump who is rude to you, but in general, we don't want to hurt each other's feelings. And so when you see a product that you don't immediately think will help you, aka something you're not going to buy, you still be like, "Yeah, that's a beautiful baby. Yeah, that's the most beautiful baby I ever did see." It's real mean to call somebody's baby ugly. It's like it's uncalled for.
Off the
So
boundary.
why? Yeah, yeah. Why? Why would you? You can try that. Try that in your social life. Next time you see a little baby, go, God, ugly baby. Glad that's not my baby. So I think human nature is they're like, yeah, wow, I can really see the value, and that's the like the polite way of saying, yeah, it's not for me. Looks great. Something that will often happen, and this is a horrible trap. They'll say, I can really see the value, or they start asking for more feature to stuff because maybe they're interested, like intellectually, in what does the configuration page look like of your software, or can you make the font bigger, or can you make it blue, or all these unimportant things about the product, and of course you get sucked into it because you want to show it off, uh, and instead of being morally strong, coming back to the problem that the customer has.
And so, uh, what is where is it, Tom, that well, actually, what are the exact phrases that they feel like a yes, but they are really a no?
Mm. I think one of the bigger no's is, let me circle back, or let me talk to my team, because that's all just polite foisting. So you can counter that by asking, what are you going to tell the team? And that's
Ooh.
that's giving you an indication of, you can't just say, so what do you think of the product, because that beautiful baby, beautiful baby. So instead you could, I think you can say, what do you how are you gonna present or think about the problem that we've talked about, your problem that we've been talking about? Are you going to present it in a different light? Is there anything new that you think the team should benefit from? And then this is actually one of my favorites. I got this from an old sales guy. Can we maybe have a couple of minutes with your boss to prep for the questions that they're going to ask you? So then ask for just like 10 minutes with the boss, so you can, and what you say is, I want to hear, I want to be with you and your boss to hear some of the concerns that they're going to have, so that you and I can prep a great answer, so that you end up looking good when you're actually doing the actual presentation to the bigger, to the bigger committee.
So that's great, right? Especially when you're dealing, when you're actually presenting not to the decision maker, right?
Yeah, you're rarely, it's rarely the decision. You're rarely talking to the decision maker. If they say they have the budget, maybe they do. but chances are that there's somebody back there. If you're talking about any serious amount of money, there's somebody back there who needs to authorize it, especially if it's not an RFP. If it's an RFP, then they've already allocated the budget, and maybe that you really are talking to the decision maker. If you're asking them to spend new money, they probably need to talk to somebody else.
Okay. And that's where it's good to actually either be in the room when they are talking to the decision maker, or at least get the person ready for it. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, it's unlikely that you're going to be in the room. It would be great if you can be in the room, but if you ask, the trick is ask for a 10-minute meeting, and like I swear it will not be more than 10 minutes, so that you and I together can hear your boss's concerns and priorities, so that when you go back and give like the official readout of this exploration, you won't look like a jerk because you don't have the information to answer the question. And so it's a kind of a backstop for your champion, for the person you're talking to know that the you've got the boss's questions already sorted out. Of course, it makes you look good as a vendor because you're got some face time to the boss, but B, you're seeing as being supportive to the other people in the organization, and you're not just thinking about how to sell stuff. You're thinking about how to fix the problem. And then C, it just makes it a lot easier so that you can go around the guy later and completely backstab your champion and go to the boss if things do stall, because you've established that one-on-one credibility with the more senior person. They will do everything they can to stop that, and that's that your champion doesn't want you to talk to their boss because they don't want to introduce you or put that risk of reputation of like, why did you put a vendor on my calendar for half an hour? Jesus. That's why 10 minutes and say, and put it as, we're not doing a demo, we're not doing a pitch. We just want to get the companies, you can say the company's point of view or the company's priorities from your boss so that all three of us can hear it before you come in. And a good boss actually should honor that attention to detail and that desire to be able to think of things proactively. I'd take that meeting, and I'd have like a timer, and at 9 minutes or at 8 minutes, end the call, and leave them pleasantly surprised that you didn't try to elbow in more time with the boss. So ask for 10, end it in 8. Don't pitch stuff. Ask insightful leading questions about their priorities and how it impacts the problem that you think they're facing.
So you got to come prepared, right?
It is. I was an actual Boy Scout, and so yes, you do indeed need to be prepared, just like a good Boy Scout.
And I like it how in one of our conversations you mentioned that this is the process of arming your champion, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the champion is the person, and this is there's some really good work in Challenger, for example, the Challenger methodology that differentiates helpful people from friendly people, because a champion has influence, and you gotta make sure that a champion can get you that meeting with the more senior person. A friend just wants to jibber jaw and admire your software configuration over and over again, and they will suck your time and your life and kill your quota. So a champion can get that meeting and is willing to get that meeting because they trust you enough to say, "Boss, this is Tom," and they trust you that you're not going to renege and start pitching. So yeah. On the other hand, the champion hasn't really sold stuff before. Champion's probably not a seller, so they don't really know what to do in order to make a sale. A good way to help them is to help them understand what the buying process inside their own organization probably is. Mm-hmm. So you have two jobs to arm a champion. One job is to get it so that they can actually answer eruditely about the problem that they're facing, the cost of inaction, and all that stuff. Great business case will meet that need so that they have all the answers, all the questions. They can actually talk about the product as if, and the product and the problem just as well as you can. But the other thing is kind of off the books, and that is helping them understand how to navigate their own purchasing process. So, is the CFO going to set one of their FP&O staff on doing a financial analysis or not? Is legal just going to take 6 years? Will there be a technical review? They probably, the customer, the champion probably hasn't thought of this stuff, but you know that you have a really onerous contract and that it's going to take 6 weeks of law work, legal review. So if you can kind of document that stuff in what we call a mutual action plan, so these are the steps to get from broken to fixed, and doom, that will help them understand how to navigate their process so that you're not stuck on some annoying detail that could have been thought of 3 weeks ago. If you'd sent the draft of the contract to the lawyers 3 weeks before closing, they would have had time to address it.
That's so valuable. And I'm thinking here, Tom, you said something about which is very interesting, how your champion or even the decision maker can perceive you. And how is it that you change someone perceiving you as a sales from a sales rep to actually someone that cares and is truly concerned with their needs?
Yeah. The facetious thing is don't wear a big watch. That's my first facetious answer. Don't wear a big watch. And I think the minute you start talking about discounts, I think it wrecks your credibility myself.
Okay.
I would much you want to make sure that they know that you know something about the industry, either because of your own personal experience or because you've studied what your organization has taught you. It's better if you've been in the industry and you've actually worked in their shoes, but if you haven't, you haven't. But you can still call on the expertise of your organization as having seen their problem at 1,000 other companies. So you should be spitting out insights left and right, telling stories about other customers who've experienced the problem, and just generally being a fount of knowledge that they can come to rely on. I think when you start offering discounts to close by the end of the quarter, your perception kind of changes, and now you're trying to grab stuff off of them. By all means, you can be hardcore in negotiations and say, look, man, this is worth $75,000. That's what it's worth. And you can be friendly but firm on that, without damaging your reputation to somebody who really has good insights. So yeah, don't offer discounts. Don't wear a big watch. Actually be helpful and know about the problem and the root cause of their problem, and keep going on that. And I'll say one more thing, and this is important for at the end of the deal. Don't go back into selling mode. So if they've already said, yeah, I agree that I have a problem, don't relitigate it. Don't remind them, don't forget you have a problem, because it just opens up the can of worms again and gets them to think, well, maybe it's not as quite as urgent a problem as we thought. Don't relitigate it. It's okay to remind them where we're at, but don't go back into selling mode once you've hit that criteria that they've agreed that they have a problem and you've been able to document the actual extent of it.
Oh, this is so good. Tom, as we're about to wrap up this episode, my final question for you is, um, what was a deal that you were sure you were going to close until it wasn't going to close? Actually, what did you miss there now looking back?
I've had a couple where the champion was just on it, like guaranteed, I want this, we're going to do it. And the champion, if the champion had had the budget, it would have been no problem. But I wasn't thorough enough to realize that the champion wasn't the boss and didn't, they had a great title and all that stuff. But I wasn't thorough enough to check who else might be involved in the decision. And I didn't have any view into them. So classic multi-threaded, single-threaded problem. If it had just been that person, I guarantee would have solved it. but I didn't, and so it cost me.
And what did you learn out of that experience, Tom?
Well, get that 10-minute meeting. Jesus, get the 10-minute meeting with the boss, and
So
make
that's where
sure.
it comes from.
Yeah, yeah. Make sure that you know that they know that they have a problem.
Tom, it's been such a great conversation, and reading those signs is definitely very important in getting the people that are with you on board with you ready to sell. Great insights. And thanks very much for another episode. If you haven't watched the first one, go back, watch it, and we're gonna keep talking. We have one more episode that we're gonna have, and there we're gonna talk about the use of AI. Just use AI, the issue that's actually killing your sales. And thanks very much, Tom.
Obrigado.
Come on, I'm Brazilian, by the way. See you on the other. See you there. See you on the other side. Bye bye.